By many measures, Regional West has experienced a remarkable reversal and improvement over the past year, but more change is on the horizon as interim CEO Mel McNay works to transform the organization. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, Regional West held a pair of town hall meetings this week in which CEO Mel McNay discussed the results of changes to the culture and finances, plans for the future, and took questions from the public. Among improvements is a Centers for Medicare and Medicaid quality rating increase from 1 to 2 stars, something that McNay said was impressive to operational assessment advisory firm Community Hospital Corporation.
They said what you've been able to accomplish in the year is phenomenal. They said, but there's also a lot of broken systems that we need to work on. And that was kind of reinforced by the individuals who look at Standard & Poor's and do an assessment of your organization. And one of their comments back is what we've been able to do from a quality and a financial perspective is exceptional. They just had never seen that turnaround in 1 year.
Net operation margins for Regional West were in the black for December for the first time in well over a year. And Fitch Ratings this month affirmed the rating of the hospital bonds at BB-. McNay said among changes coming this year will be patient experience improvements, recruitment of more doctors, specialists, and nurses to work and live in the community and expand services, as well as upgrades to several critical pieces of medical equipment. Well, the Scottsbluff-Gering United Chamber of Commerce Wednesday night honored a trio of individuals whose contributions have made a significant impact on our communities, county, and state during the organization's annual meeting and banquet. Former Gering Mayor Tony Kaufman was the recipient of the 2023 Trailblazer Award, saying he was surprised to be so honored.
You know, there's so many deserving people in our community, and I've had the pleasure of serving on so many boards, and we've had a lot of initiatives that we've gotten done in this community. And honestly, this is a community award. It takes so many people to build a village, and I think our village is pretty strong. And so we've got great people in place to go and do good things in the future. I'm honored and humbled to be included in the list of individuals that have bestowed this award in the past.
Becca Pierce of Riverstone Bank was honored with the Visionary Superstar Award and gave credit to her parents, especially her mother.
My mom always taught me, if you have it to give, it's your duty to give it out, and whether it be your money or your time. And I have 3 children, so I don't have a lot of money, so I give them my time. So I love this community, and I understand why when Jennifer says it's the favorite community within the state is because it is. This is the most giving community and the best place to be.
Megan Hayward was honored with this year's Chamber's Rising Star Award and says she was so surprised to get the nomination.
I know the people who've come and won these awards before me, and I don't feel like I'm at that level, but I just want to say thank you to all of you. Many of the people in this room have supported me either in a business or in an organization or as a mentor, and I just am really grateful for all of you and this community.
The awards are presented to Chamber members who have not only followed their visions, but also give their time and their talents to the community in such a way that the entire community benefits.
The journey of a dream becoming reality. When we're young, a dream develops into a passion. That passion continues to manifest and grows as you do. It becomes all you want to do and all you want to be. It gives you direction. It drives you. Then, your dream has become a reality. When that dream is ready to be reality, Platte Valley Bank will be with you every step of the way.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly. If I didn't have Life Care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and, in fact, a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance, and in retrospect, a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
Welcome back. A trio of Scottsbluff residents facing felony drug charges following an encounter with law enforcement over Labor Day weekend will not be standing trial. 36-year-old Ashley Walker, 35-year-old Lacey Calder, and 42-year-old Justin Cum were all arrested after nearly 1,000 fentanyl pills were discovered following a brief investigation. Yesterday in court, the final of the three defendants pleaded no contest to amended charges in the case. Walker will be sentenced on February 2nd on the most serious conviction in the case, a Class 2 felony charge of distribution of fentanyl. Calder and Cum will be sentenced later this winter on serious but lesser drug convictions. Well, an appropriations bill to provide about $12,000 for the rollout of new Czech Heritage specialty license plates gave Bayard Senator Steve Erdman the opportunity to call for a permanent standard Nebraska plate. Getting a specialty plate requires the state to produce and provide a temporary plate at the time of application, to which Erdman criticized as wasteful. He said he had a solution that either a new or returning lawmaker could offer next year.
Someone needs to introduce a bill to design a permanent Nebraska license plate, because it appears that every time we make a new plate, they get uglier than the one before. And the reason that we have so many requests for specialty plates is because this plate that we have now is the ugliest plate I've ever seen.
He continued that there are a number of other states that have standard plates with a basic motif that does not change, but also gave their motorists options for a specialty or variety plates. Erdman says perhaps the topic should be the subject of an interim study that next year's legislature can address.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Logos in Gering is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees, and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gering.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Ag Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint, you're driving home our reputation.
The white mold has been an increasing threat for soybean producers across the region. During these slower winter months, there can be some steps you can take to reduce the risk of white mold in your fields come spring and fall. We're recently joined by Nebraska Extension plant pathologist Dylan Mangel to get his advice on that subject. It's good to see you. We're in the midst of winter meeting season, which means you're hearing from a lot of producers what went well, some of the challenges also in 2023. Understand something you're getting asked a lot about right now is white mold. What's the story there?
That's right. Yeah, we've had a surprising amount of questions on white mold. We knew it was bad in 2023, but I just don't think we knew exactly how bad it was. And from growers all over the state, especially in areas we're not used to seeing it, growers really experienced it last year.
Okay, let's back up a little bit, talk about what is white mold and what's it look like out in the field.
So white mold is also called Sclerotinia stem rot. It's a fungus that's going to grow, it's going to stay in the soil and then when the moisture gets right in the springtime, it'll pop up and it'll infect those plants. The problem with this one is it can stay in the soil for a long time. You're really not going to get rid of it once it's in a field. But what happens when it gets on those plants is it infects through the flowers, and then there's a period of delay before you start to see symptoms that could last several weeks. And then into August, you'll start to see those symptoms show up on the plant, which looks like a cottony, fluffy mold growing, starting on the stem from where that infection point was and radiating up and down that stem until it kills the plant.
What kind of yield loss is associated with white mold?
It really depends how many plants you lose. So we've got growers that you'll experience just a couple intermittent plants that were lost, and you're not going to see a lot, but those plants will be dead. But there's also cases where it'll show up in big pockets, and on the yield monitor, you'll just see yields drop down to basically nothing where you've lost the plants in those areas.
And where geographically in Nebraska are you hearing reports from this past year?
So traditionally it's been in northwest or northeast Nebraska in those rain-fed areas, but what happened this year is it really showed up as far south as the Kansas border, not at high levels, but there's definitely pockets through the irrigated parts of the state as well as that traditional area up in the northeast that really suffered from it.
You mentioned flowering is kind of the time where you're going to start to see this in irrigated and maybe more heavily rain-fed areas or where it's been impacted. Why is that? Bring us through the science of how this works. So
the plant is only susceptible during flowering because that fungus has to infect those flowers, and that's the only place it can get into the plant. When you get moisture and that aligns with that flowering window, and you know there's a lot of flowering windows on beans now that are quite long, so when you get that moisture, those spores are going to develop then on the soil surface, and they'll move up and they'll infect those plants right when that moisture shows up if the plant is susceptible then.
Obviously, as we look back on last year, nothing we could do about it in the rearview mirror, but moving forward, if you identify white mold in your field, what can you do in 2024 about this?
So in 2024, if you start to see white mold, the only thing you can really do in season is try to protect those plants. You've got to get there and protect the plants before they're infected though. That's going to be happening when flowers are present. So as soon as R1 shows up and you've got flowers present, and the plant grows to be more susceptible as there's more present, so into R2, that's when you need to protect those plants. This also aligns with canopy closure. So you've got to protect those flowers. I generally recommend aiming treatments towards late R1, early R2, right about when canopy closes is going to be that optimal timing to protect those with a foliar fungicide. Now that's what you can do in season. But leading into 2024, if you still have time in variety selection, think about pitting a variety on those white mold fields or fields that have had a history of that in the past that has a good rating, a good disease rating for white mold.
You told me too, how much space you have in between your rows might play a factor, those with a 15-inch spacing.
Yep, so when it comes to white mold, it's all about managing moisture in those plots and that humidity under the canopy surface. So growers have had success in the past moving from 15-inch rows to 30-inch rows where they've had a history of white mold. Now, there's downsides to increasing your row spacing too, so think about what your other problems are and decide if white mold's severe enough. Opening those rows up a little bit is going to let air get through there a little bit better. It's going to delay canopy closure, and it'll shorten that susceptibility window for white mold.
The key here, Dylan, is we're in these winter months. Think about what happened in 23. Let's be a little more, proactive. See what we can do. Seed selection and row spacing row spacings here ahead of the 2024 growing season. Final word is yours, Dylan. What else do you want to share?
If you've got any other questions on that, go to cropwatch.unl.edu and search for white mold.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Let's take a peek at your weekend community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, Western Nebraska Community College is preparing for a renovation and expansion of the Harm Center on the Scottsbluff campus that will revamp and provide new spaces for WNCC health science programs. The project consists of more than 34,000 square feet of renovated space split between the lower level and main floor within the existing Harm Center, and will provide expansion and improvements for programs including nursing, emergency medical services, health information technology, medical laboratory technology, and surgical technology. President Greg Dart says the renovation will increase their ability to train more students and do it in an elevated learning experience. The project will largely be funded with money WNCC received from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, totaling approximately $9 million. Beckenhauer Construction was selected by the WCCA Board of Governors as the construction manager at risk for this project, which is scheduled for completion of January 2025. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday.